What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Tuesday, December 30th. Now, in today's dog video, this is more directed towards the Gemini team and the Gemini listing team. Now, the Gemini team must be reviewing dog and debating if dog meets any of the standards for a spot exchange listing. Well, this video is going to debunk all those mysterious elements and reveal them up close. But that dog doesn't just qualify for a spot listing, but the rewards of a spot listing benefit both parties, especially the Gemini listing team. So let's go and get right into it. I don't want to waste any time. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email, so please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So as you're aware, on October 2nd, which was my birthday, by the way, we submitted dog publicly and transparently to the Gemini listing team portal. Now, this website and this listing application is available to everybody. It is public and anybody can submit their tokens if they are a creator. So we decided that we were going to submit dog to Gemini publicly and transparently. And why this is important is because these types of things should not be done behind the scenes. In fact, the reason we did this was because we want to show the public, and especially Gemini, that dog has nothing to hide because it is a free and fair token, 100% distributed to the community. So there's no insiders, there's no VCs, there's no team members with allocations. This is pure decentralization built on Bitcoin. So we haven't heard anything from the Gemini team since this application had been submitted. But I do want to address some things that maybe the Gemini team is talking about behind the scenes, or maybe some things that they haven't addressed yet. So I'm going to point them out and debunk some of these myths regarding a dog spot listing. So let's focus on the first thing, which is what centralized exchanges usually focus on the most, which is community is everything. Now, this is a specific term that's brought up a lot because community brings in traffic, brings in traders, brings in customer base acquisitions and activity within that exchange. So what I want to point out is that why do some of these exchanges list VC-backed tokens or tokens with team members? So here's an example. So on Gemini, there is a token called Elon. That's the ticker, but it's actually called Doge Elon Mars. Now, this is actually available to trade on Gemini versus Dog. Dog is not available to trade on Gemini. And have you noticed what happens in market cap? So Dog has only been around close to around maybe 2 years, and we still have around a 97 million market cap. While over here, Elon token only has a 27 million market cap. Now, I do want people to know that Doge Elon, or aka the Elon token, is listed on multiple tier 1 exchanges. Dog is only listed on Kraken, and yet it surpasses Elon. And the reason for that is because we don't have insider tokens. There's no token allocations. We're not airdropping this to Vitalik Buterin, which half of the supply was roughly sent to Vitalik Buterin. This was originally a 1 quadrillion supply and then was cut in half. But again, people should not airdrop their tokens to founders of a chain. That's not very healthy. Dog is built on Bitcoin. No airdrops, no favors to any whales, no favors to any KOLs. It's 100% decentralized community. Let's use another example. So Pudgy Penguins, if you don't know, aka the Pengu token, is started by the Pudgy Penguin NFT collection on Ethereum, but also they created a meme coin called Pengu on Solana. Now, what have you noticed in their market cap? Well, it used to be roughly at around close to $2.5 billion. It's lost obviously around 90 to 80% of its value, and that's because the whole meme coin market went down. It's not just because of Pengu, just to make that very clear. But because of that, what makes this really fishy to me? Well, if you look at the decentralization of the token, it's not really that decentralized. So this map right here, this little diagram shows you how many tokens are allocated to the top 10 to the top 100 holders. So if you look at Dog, the top 100 holders only own 29% of the supply of Dog because we have 100 billion Dog tokens, and it's not inflationary. It's set to 100 billion on Bitcoin. Now, if you look at Pengu, Pengu has roughly 88 billion, but look at the amount of token supply allocated to the top 100 holders. It's 79%. Even if you go to the top 10 holders, just the top 10, 58% of the token supply is allocated to team members, VCs, insiders, you name it. This is why I want Gemini to focus on why it's important to understand why Dog is really the new narrative for not just meme coins, but the whole point of free and fair. And that's why they should really focus on, if community is everything, they should focus on Dog, which is 100% based on community. But let's move on. Now, listing fees. Now, we all know that listing fees are kind of a hot topic nowadays. Overseas exchanges like Asian exchanges charge listing fees, but they don't call it that. In the United States, we don't call it charging listing fees. But let's just imagine, Gemini, that you are not calling it listing fees, but maybe there's some other incentives, right? Maybe it's airdrops or security deposits. But the thing is, that's been debunked because, as you know, we have CJ from Try Limitless who called out Binance regarding their packages. So even though people don't accept paid listing fees, they will disguise it as these other packages: security deposits, airdrops to holders and programs, TVLs for token pools, marketing, you name it. These are all red flags, because what will happen is that people will expose that specific part of an exchange and ruin their reputation and trust between the exchange and the customer. So I already know that Gemini is not going to charge a listing fee, and I'm pretty sure that they're not going to do some disguised package. So I think that Gemini is more legit than that. So I'm not comparing them to Binance. I'm just saying that if there's something that they're paying attention to, that's something that we got to debunk. But one thing that I think you guys and girls out there, especially in the audience and people in the Gemini team, focus on is, does DOG have high volume? Because I noticed that some centralized exchanges love to list a token because it has a high market cap. Well, let's look at DOG's previous past. Remember, we hit 980 in June 2024 and 999 million market cap in December of 2024. And as you can see, those were validated here, June in 2024, 980 million market cap, and right over here in December of 2024, 999 million market cap, just shy 1 million of $1 billion. Yet Gemini did not list DOG for spot trading, which I find very interesting. But did you know that DOG's total trading volume to date, ever since April 24 of 2024, which was when DOG was airdropped and was made public to the audiences, it has surpassed $12 billion of total trading volume to date, and it's growing. And we only have one tier 1 centralized exchange listing, which is Kraken. Now that we've debunked the whole you need high volume or market cap in order to be listed on an exchange, what about the other topic that centralized exchanges like to bring up? Well, maybe centralized exchanges like to say, hey, listen, it's kind of hard to integrate runes into our exchange. It's complicated. We may not have the developers to handle something like this. Well, don't worry, we have somebody like Leonidas. Leonidas was actually the person that helped Kraken to implement the runes infrastructure with their exchange. So instead of having your developers work behind the scenes by themselves trying to figure it out, which may delay things, you guys should just reach out to Leonidas to help expedite that. So I want to share this clip right now by Matthew Barbie, who is the VP of growth over at Kraken, and what their experience was like and why they decided to list runes and specifically DOG, and how the outcome of DOG being listed on Kraken was actually surprising in a good way. I'm going to play that clip right now.
And we saw in runes like a community, way more than volume. By all measures, where we would usually say, is there like a minimum amount of volume here that can make sense for us to spend this engineering time, all this stuff? None of that made sense. But the community and the passion, and actually ended up, you know, the volume that came in, certainly in the DOG listing, was way more than what we anticipated. And the engagement we've had since has been amazing.
Okay, so now you heard it, Gemini team. You heard it from Matthew Barbie over at Kraken, that initially it wasn't really about market cap. It was really about community. Because they decided to list DOG, they were surprised that the DOG trading volume surpassed all their expectations. So that should take care of the whole runes is complicated situation. Just contact Leonidas and he'll help expedite that. Okay, now let's move on to the next subject, which is, most times, centralized exchanges like yourself, Gemini, you want to list tokens when there's a lot of hype. So recently, I saw that you listed BNB token. Maybe there's a lot of hype there. And maybe you listed the Pengu token because there's a lot of hype there. But listen, you got to focus on what Kraken did. Right now, meme coins and every other cryptocurrency out there doesn't have the hype right now because people are scared of listing tokens because everything is pulled back. But guess what? Kraken didn't need the hype in order to list DOG. In fact, the hype actually built after they listed DOG for spot trading. So let's pay attention to some of the hype results that came from that. So I want you to pay attention to this specific post. Okay, so this was on June 24th of this year. Now they said, we studied the runes. They spoke to us. They whispered a name, DOG. We nearly cracked them open. Now look how many impressions this got. 1.7 million impressions right before they listed DOG for spot trading. That's already the hype that you need. It didn't just stop there. Look at this image. So this is what happened when Kraken listed dog for spot trading and then continued to post about dog afterwards. You can see that we have some impressions that have 726,000. We also have 545,000 impressions, 205,000 impressions, 144,000 impressions, 130, 89,000 impressions. This is just the beginning, and they continue to see much trading volume on their exchange. But let's not just stop there. So Gemini team, I want you to know that Kraken had a competition. It was called the Rear Wing Countdown. So basically they had a whole bunch of meme coins battling it out to see who would be featured on the rear wing of the Williams racing car back in the Singapore track this year. And guess what? You saw that dog had more trading volume than Bonk. And Bonk is a legacy meme coin with VC backings and a team. And it still surpassed Bonk and came in second place. And because Pengu got first place, if you didn't know, during this time in June through July, the Pengu ETF was announced and people were funneling in, getting Pengu, trading Pengu in all these different exchanges. And then we started seeing Pengu listed on multiple tier ones. But remember, look at what happened to Pengu's market cap. It dropped significantly from 2.5 billion to where it is now, roughly around 500 million. So just because there's team members, VCs, maybe a main influencer, a leader, doesn't mean that it's sustainable. Dog is 100% community built on Bitcoin. And that's why Dog was featured right here on their Williams racing car, okay? So this is something that I want you to pay attention to, Gemini, but I don't want you to think that it's just that. Look at the social mentions in 2025. This is using the analytic tools on X and on Radar. So as you notice, the amount of Dog mentions on X over the 2025 year has surpassed Shiba Inu, SPX, Pengu, Bonk, Floki, Mog, and Dog with Hat. The only other token that has surpassed Dog in terms of mentions was Dogecoin. But also, how much Dog garners the much mind share around Gemini's ecosystem. Look over the past 24 hours. Look how many people are in the Dog army. Many of these holders own Dog. Look over the past 7 days. The exact same thing. These are all Dog holders. Look over the past month. The exact same thing. Look over the past 3 months. Look over the past year. The past year have been mainly Dog holders. This is your main audience. They're waiting for you to list Dog for spot trading. And if you want to know the top meme coin of the year in 2025, well, it's Dog. Dog has the most positive social mentions and good sentiment, surpassing Dogecoin and Pengu. Yes, you heard me right, even Pepe. So what are you waiting for? You should list Dog for spot trading on your exchange because you can tap into Bitcoin's large market share of $1.7 to $2 trillion. I mean, just look at this. If you look at Ethereum meme coins and Solana meme coins compared to their native chain on Solana and Ethereum, it's already been baked in. It's already oversaturated. They've already been priced in. Bitcoin meme coins, especially Dog, have not been priced into Bitcoin's market cap. 2026 is going to be the year of Bitcoin meme coins, and I want you, Gemini team, to look at all the data that I've shared with you. It's all proven. It's not speculation. It's not guessing. It's literally data that I've shared with you. The Dog is next in line to reach in the multi-billions of dollars of market cap, and I really want you to be a part of that. Gemini team, you know I'm very bullish on Dog, but I want you to be bullish on Dog too. The reason I shared this video with you is because I want you to understand and debunk all the questions that your listing team has behind the scenes, that you really need to focus on supporting the free and fair movement, supporting the #1 Bitcoin meme coin and the #1 fungible token by market cap on Bitcoin. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? Kraken is already leading in that, and you should definitely lead in that too, because once you list Dog for spot trading, not only are you going to have great trading volume, but you're also going to get great customer base acquisitions because you're going to get new customers, new clients around the world signing up on your app, starting a brand activation, and garnering more eyes and ears and buy buttons on Gemini. And that's what we want you to have, is that we want you to win by using us to help garner more traction towards your exchange. We do the marketing, we do the brand activation. All you have to do is list it on the exchange and let the market come to you, and it will happen as it has happened for Kraken. So hopefully this video has been very informational for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you need any help implementing the Runes protocol into your exchange, please contact Leonidas, maybe even reach out to the Kraken team, and they'll be happy to support. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog and Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.